What up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Ghost XP. I'm your co-host Kong,
I'm Pensu.
and today we're gonna cover the topic of exorcism.
Demon possession, ghost. Is there such thing as ghost possession?
I think, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Alright, my bad.
But yeah, Pitts and I, we researched 2 stories each, so we're gonna be covering those. And no, we won't be covering the Exorcism, the movie experience again.
No Hollywood. Well, actually, I take that back.
I think Hollywood.
I have 2 Hollywood.
There are movies based on these experiences. It's just
Yeah.
that it's not The Exorcist, because we already covered that in an episode in season 1.
Yep. But before we start, Kong, introduce the beer for us today.
The beer today is from a local Minneapolis brewery called Indeed. And this is actually one of my top favorite beers, and it's called Mexican Honey Light Lager. Cheers. It's supposed to be
Cheers.
really light, sweet, or not sweet, light and smooth, I mean. Cheers.
Wow. Smooth. Just smooth.
Really, yeah, it's the opposite of an IPA. It's not
Wow.
really. It's not really like. It's like higher quality than like Coors and Miller Lite too.
Yeah, and it doesn't leave that aftertaste. It's like just smooth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, really refreshing.
Yeah, because IPA, when you drink it, you're like, damn, I could still taste it afterwards, but this is smooth. Good stuff.
Yeah. All right. Did you want to get started first with your story?
Right. I'm gonna try to put everything into one episode. There's a lot of stuff, so
Yep. And again, before we start, I do apologize ahead of time if we look at our phones because we have to. There's a lot of information.
there's
to
a
remember.
lot.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm gonna start off with a Hollywood movie. It's The Conjuring: Devil in Me. If you guys
That
remember.
is The Conjuring Part 3.
Yeah, and it came out like probably 3 years ago, and it was about some guy who killed his landlord, and then he had to go to trial. This dates back in 1980s. There's a guy. His name is Arnie Cheyenne Johnson. He's I guess you could say, the main character of the movie. But before then, we're gonna actually go back to how he got followed by a demon. So we're gonna take a step back to the 1980s. This is considered the first case ever in the U.S. where the defendant used possession as, I guess you could say, a possession as a, a fighting case to try to be not guilty. So it's kind of weird. It's the first of its case, yeah, let's get right into it.
Okay.
So in the beginning, the Getzel family consists of Judy, the mother, a father who wasn't able to find his name, David, the youngest boy, Debbie, the daughter, you could say sister. The Getzel family moved to Connecticut. David, being the youngest of the family, as a kid, you moved to a new house. You kind of want to explore. You want to see what's around. You're excited. I remember when I moved, my parents moved, and I'm like, yep, I want to see what the new place is like.
Same.
Right?
Pick out your rooms. Yeah.
Yeah, find the room, and you already call the shots. Like, no, the sister gets the worst room, the scariest room.
Yeah.
Pretty much that. And so the kid decided to go around. This is David. He decided to go around the house, and he ended up finding not what he was looking for. He ended up finding a old grumpy spirit. It's an old man. And I guess the moment he found the old man, he was like, what are you doing here? And the old man told him, I don't want your family to move in. I don't approve you guys, and if you move in, bad things are gonna happen. So the little boy, David, seeing this old man, he's like, oh, what the heck? Kids, you hear that?
Yeah, static.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Guys, I think our mic are getting possessed.
Yeah, I don't know what caused that. I didn't even move much either.
Okay. Yeah. Anyways, David said the spirit became aggressive towards him and warned that if the family does move in, bad things will happen. Being a young kid, David ran to his parents and began begging them to come out of the rental contract and move to a different place. The parents completely ignored him because he was a kid. I think, personally, me, I will probably do the same thing. After moving in, it didn't take long for David's health to rapidly decline. However, His parents refused to believe that the strange behavior and health condition of David wasn't a demonic possession. They just thought that kids get sick at school, and it's a natural thing, right? Weeks passes by. David would continue speaking about the old man, and then there were, at some point of time, the parents actually caught the kid speaking to someone that wasn't visible. They were able to capture David having conversation with the old man, and there were times where David would have a different tone, and times where he would speak Latin to this person, and I guess the parents were just pretty much like, what?
Wait, they're not a Spanish or Latino family, right?
They are.
They are? Oh, okay. Okay, never mind. Yep.
Yeah, they are. But not the Arnold guy. He's more, he comes into the family later. He's the boyfriend of the sister of David. So that will come in later. And so after, I guess, a few weeks of moving in, the boy ended up talking to, some spirit, and the family didn't want to believe him until, they actually got him just talking to the air. And then that's when the parents were like, yeah, that's kind of weird. And he's speaking in Latin too, so something's going on there. It doesn't make sense. It was then they started to believe that the spiritual haunting may be real. David would soon experience odd injuries like bruises and scratches after horrible nightmares and experience seizures. This is like days after, right? Mm-hmm. David would say that this is being done by a beast man in his dream and in person. As months passes by, he would start speaking to his family and hisses and growls. He would often quote sentences from a book called Paradise Lost and biblical messages or passages, which I don't think a kid of that age would even know a book about Paradise Lost. You guys can Google that. It is an actual book. This is something a kid shouldn't even know. It was then the mother Judy have decided that this is indeed a possession by the devil. They turned to their Catholic church for help, wanting an exorcism for the boy. The church declined due to having zero exorcism in the past few decades, and especially on a child. So they didn't want to do that to a kid. So they kind of just called it good with that, and so they didn't help the family of the Gatso family. Well, that conversation ended there, and the Gatso family then sought help from none other Ed and Lorraine. And we all know who the Warrens are.
Famous Warrens, yeah.
The demonologist Ed, and then Lorraine being the psychic. What do you want to call her? Medium.
Medium.
And this is where you guys are starting to see that it's gonna start involving the movie, and of course, they're famous, known. I guess you'd call demonologists. So yeah, let's move on to the boyfriend though. I'm going to move on to him. We already know that now David is in contact with the Warrens. Arnie is Debbie's boyfriend, which is Debbie is David's sister. So there isn't much of information about the relationship. But Arnie was asked to move into the home of the Gatso, as he was responsible to keep David comfort at night, because David was having a lot of nightmares and stuff. So he was technically there just to be like the older brother and show love and comfort him and make sure things weren't happening, or if anything wasn't getting out of control, he was just there to be the older brother.
And he was there for something else.
Yeah. Am I driving crazy?
Oh, he was there for the little brother, all right.
Yeah. So he moved in May of 1980s and got comfortable with the family.
Wait, he moved in with the family?
Yep, he moved in knowing the kid is getting all this stuff happening to him. The family asked him to help because they didn't have like an older brother, so they told the boyfriend to just say, "Hey, it's cool, you come in."
Interesting.
Yep. So
are you sure this is a Latino family?
This is a Mika guy now. Yeah.
I would think Latino families are like Asian.
Honestly, I might be wrong, but dude. All right, someone comment down below if it is Latino.
In the movie, they're white though, if I remember.
Yeah. I might be wrong here.
No, but yeah, go ahead. Yeah, just think about Latino family letting a white boyfriend move in.
Yeah, that would never happen.
I
That
don't
would never
know.
slide.
I
That would
don't
never
know
slide
about
the.
that.
That would never slide the
Yeah.
Asian family too.
Sorry, go ahead.
So pretty much, Arnie, he moved in, and he was pretty much the comforter for David as an older brother. He treated David like he was his little brother and felt bad for his suffering. They did eventually do 3 exorcism on David.
Oh wow.
Ed and Lorraine was there the whole entire time. They documented everything. They did have some recording, which I wasn't able to provide. I didn't really get the time to research, but on the third and final exorcism, this dude did something stupid, pretty much. And we all know the rules. You don't taunt anything, okay? Especially in an exorcism, right? On the third and final exorcism, Arnie had become frustrated that David was still suffering, and at last chance effort to get rid of the demon from David, he proclaimed to the demon and spirits of all realm that to leave David's body. However, he added that if the spirits needed a body to call home, they could take him instead.
I remember that in the movie.
Yeah, so that was part of the movie.
Right, yeah.
And you can already see it's a downhill from here. Arne was 19 at the time. Ed was already worried about his behavior since the kid was like Arne was pretty much a loose cannon. He was a short-tempered dude and he was very reckless already. So then for him to do that, having a demon follow you, which is it doesn't mix well. So before the exorcism, though, Ed had already warned Arnie not to taunt the demons, but he did so anyways. Everything went well after a few months of the exorcism. Debbie and her boyfriend, that guy, they decided to move into their own home. However, Arnie began to suffer from many of the same symptoms that David had dealt with for months. Arnie would growl and say he saw the beast man, and then later have zero memories of it. The Warrens blame him for this. The Warrens had already given warnings to local police and the Gatso family that Arne is dangerous. Were the warnings enough, though? It wasn't. Pretty much, he ended up murdering somebody. He ended up killing somebody. And they believe it was because of demonic possession. Now, let's go into the murder case then. In the movie, they say that he killed the landlord. But from what I researched, it was not the landlord. It was actually Debbie, his girlfriend's boss at work. Okay? It's a little different. I should have maybe done a bigger research on the court files to see what the actual case was, but from what I read, and this seemed to be a really reliable source, they said that it was Debbie's boss. Okay, so on February 16th, 1981, Debbie was at work. Arne has called in sick, decided to tag along with his girl to work. For some odd reason, Debbie decided to bring her younger siblings too, like David and them, because she works at a groom, or she grooms dogs pretty much, cut their hair.
That's right. I remember from the movie.
Yeah. So she cuts dogs here for a living, and so she was like, hey, you know what, why don't the siblings join in, and they can have fun with the dogs and the pets that are there, and so they did just that. Her boss, his name is Alan. And I guess unfortunately on this day he was like, you know what, the whole family's here. Why don't we shut the place down after lunch, and I'll buy you guys lunch and we can all hang out. So he did exactly that, just that. Alan did. Alan was at lunch. He bought them all lunch, and he had a few drinks too. He bought some alcohol, so he was drinking, and I believe so was Arne. He was drinking too. Arnie. My bad. And it goes, during lunch break, her boss, Alan, decided to buy everyone lunch and close the shop down for the day. He began drinking heavily. This is Alan. And his demeanor changed when he was around Debbie's 9-year-old cousin. Kind of weird, right?
Wait, Arnie? This is Arnie?
Debbie's 9 years old. No, this is Alan.
The boss.
Okay. So he started drinking, and then he saw the little kid, Debbie's cousin, and he started changing his demeanor. demeanor, which is kind of weird.
Like pedo.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh wow.
All right, we'll get back to that though. I don't think my boy Arnie was wrong. All right. Anyways,
I think I know where this is going.
yeah. So Debbie became concerned her boss's behavior and decided to leave work for her family's safety. As the group walked out the front door, Alan, the boss, grabbed young Mary, which is the 9-year-old cousin, and wouldn't let her leave. This caused Arnie to be outraged. He started growling at Alan, growling because of the possession that took place before. Before Alan had a chance to react, Arnie charged at him and stabbed him 5 times with a pocket knife. Alan would then be pronounced dead a few hours after. In the movie, they were at the house, the apartment, and I guess he stabbed him, the landlord at the apartment, but this time it was at the workplace. Arnie ran into the woods, then was found and arrested. He has 0 memories of the murder he caused even till this day. When officer interrogated him, it seemed very noticeable that Arnie did not remember what he did. So he really does not have 0. He does have 0 memories of what he did. It seems like he didn't know what he did though. So the trial started in 1981, and in the trial, this is the first case where demonic possession was used as a defense strategy. Judy, the mother of the Getzel family, spoke out about the earlier incident with Arnie and the final exorcism with David, and the warrants will back up the case as well, saying that this is a legit demonic possession and it should be used as a defense strategy towards the case to defend Arnie and the murder. And so, yeah, of course, the warrant got their back and all. With such an exotic defense tactic, the judge wasn't buying the whole possession story and refused to accept it. He rejected the plea due to the lack of evidence. That this trial will soon be named "The Devil Made Me Do It" because of the first case ever as the demonic possession. Since the rejection of the plea, Arnie's attorney would then say it was an act of self-defense, thus making Arnie not guilty and only charge him with manslaughter. He was sentenced to 10 to 20 years to prison. In prison, Arnie will be out after 5 years of serving in 1986, and he would end up marrying Debbie shortly right after.
Oh wow!
So he got out in 5 years.
And Debbie was loyal.
Yeah, Debbie was loyal.
Wow.
She didn't go out there. After the dude killed somebody.
I mean, he killed supposedly a pedo, I guess.
Yeah, that's. So I guess my question to you is, Carl, now knowing that Alan, who was the boss and ended up trying to talk to the 9-year-old, acting weird afterwards, and the dude, he did that to him. What are your thoughts about that?
I mean, you can never side with a pedo, man.
Very true.
I mean, we don't know exactly what happened, but when someone gives pedo vibes, man, you can't side with that person.
No, cannot.
And the justice system has to do its thing, right? But,
right. And the prison system will do its thing too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Arnold didn't have much of a hard time in prison because he killed a pedophile. That's how he's there.
Arnold.
Yeah.
I think I'm not saying that death should be the cause for a pedo, but at the end of the day, it's like, come on, dude. You know?
Like the thing is, I don't want to say, well, he didn't really do anything to the night.
Yeah,
right. I don't want to say that either, right?
Yeah.
Like I get it. The boss didn't do anything to the 9-year-old.
But the boss is sus.
To that extent.
Yeah.
But he's sus. I get it.
He is sus though for stopping the 9-year-old from leaving.
Yeah. So
that's weird.
I don't know.
Did he deserve to get stabbed? Probably not. But
yeah, I don't think he. Based on what you said, I don't think he deserved to get stabbed. But again, we don't know what really happened.
Yeah.
Either, you know,
he could have.
We're just reiterating what they.
Yeah.
She say.
There could have been an exchange of lines that kind of trigger the Arnie guy, and he could have got more pissed and be like, you know what the fuck you say? Yeah. You know.
Wait, so like, man, they didn't do no exorcism on him or anything, right?
They did not.
So he just went to prison.
Yeah, people in the prison. They did it to the I guess you could say the brother-in-law David. And
So
he was so they pretty much during the trial they pretty much said that he was possessed, but then there was no exorcism that was done to him. See, you see,
so,
that's why that's why I said the judge said there was lack of evidence, and so
Yeah.
he didn't buy the whole entire. Oh, I was possessed, so I killed him.
yeah, that's really interesting right there.
But at the same time, the Warrens did defend him, saying that David, we did it for the little bro, and he fucked up saying this.
Yeah.
But you can't defend that too, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So this is where I was gonna get at too. For those of you that are watching, what are your thoughts? But going to now that we understand a lot of the story and the judge not buying it, and you guys know what happened to the guy, the main character. Would you guys really say is demonic possession though? Although he did taunt the demons during the whole exorcism.
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
But then again,
how did he become okay?
Well, the thing what I would say too is that it doesn't help knowing that he was a reckless teenager, and at that time the killing he was only 19, and even Ed from the Warrens said that this dude is dangerous, pretty much, and you should be kind of even told the local cops that you should keep an eye on him, not because of it was after the exorcism because they believed something followed him, but even before then. Before the exorcism, Ed told him, dude, don't be stupid, pretty much. You don't taunt. And he did taunt, Not saying he's a young, dumb team and he did some dumb shit, but...
He just does the bad shit.
It doesn't help his case. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't help his case, too.
I guess in the case of... Hopefully going against a pedophile... I think it's.
I guess I give him a
justified.
Yeah, I guess it gives him a little bit of an upper hand because he's a pedophile. But at the same time, I'm not gonna say his actions should be fully like just erase everything because at the end of the day, he did pretty much fucked up too.
Yeah.
And what I'd say is demonic possession. What do you say? I don't know if it is.
I don't know. It's just how did he get cured then? Or like how come we never heard anything since?
Well, I'll get right into that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right, so in 2007, so this guy's been out after 5 years of serving, right, in 1986. This is 2007, so we're going 20 years later, okay? The Warrens have continuously published The Devil Made Me Do It for income without the Getzel's permission. Ed had already passed away at this time. Lorraine was the only one left. That being said, David and his wife, Carl, so David, this is the possessed son, remember? He's all grown up now, he's married, his wife is Carl, would then try to sue the Warrens. David would confess that there wasn't any real world occurrences of demonic possession. He claimed that the Warrens made up the story for fame and fortune. The Getzel had insisted that David was struggling with mental illness at that time, and the Warrens, seeing this struggle, they showed up at the front door out of the blues during that time because they saw that the kid was struggling, and they took it as an opportunity to make money.
Wait, they show out of the blue?
Yeah,
though?
that's what David said.
Why would they show out of the blue? Like, how do they know your mental health issues?
That's kind of hard to say. The Warren tried to persuade the Gadsden family to publicize this case as a demonic possession for fame and money. Ed and Lorraine did just that, though. In 1983, pretty much right after the murder, 1983, they would publish a book called The Devil in Connecticut. Ed and Lorraine did that. They published a book, and it sold a lot. It sold hundreds and thousands of copies instantly. Could this be that maybe David and his wife just wanted a cut from the revenue? Or maybe Ed and Lorraine are fraudsters? Kind of hard to say. But let me take it back a year though. So this is 2006. In an interview in 2006, Arnie and Debbie would say this is the dude that killed the boss. Now this is the brother-in-law. Okay. And Debbie, the sister of David, would say that the demonic possession was real. The Warrens were telling the truth, and that David and Carl were trying to discredit them. They were looking for an easy payday. Until this day, Arnie and Debbie insist that the demonic possession is 100% true.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of information out there that claims that the Warrens were fraudsters, but
There is.
there's not really like concrete evidence. And if your siblings are saying that the exorcism was real, then what can you say? You know?
Yeah, especially the dude that actually killed the other dude.
For real,
David, you didn't do the time.
Damn.
David, you did not do the time. Shut your bitch.
Damn, he took the spirits away from you, bro. He volunteered.
And you would come back and try to say it's a lie. Yeah.
He volunteered as tribute, bro.
Yeah, right. So there are some comments in these after researching and that I found that was actually pretty. I guess they were highlighted into the whole entire article. One of the readers said, "So if he was possessed, implying to Arnie, if he was possessed, what transpired when he spent a few years in prison? Was there any paranormal activity in prison? Surely, if it was a legitimate case, the prisoners and guard would have witnessed something."
Very true.
Very true, though,
Valid
right?
point.
Valid point.
Yeah.
So then it goes back to maybe the dude and Debbie was lying.
Oh yeah, because they have to stick true to the story.
Yeah.
Because they went to the whole justice system. That was the argument. Wow, really interesting.
Yeah, and
really
then so there was another comment that said, "Why would an entire family follow someone to work and hang out all day, including one of them calling off work to do so? This is the least believable part of this entire story."
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's kind of tough because, I mean, if I had all these pets, I know Colleen's family loves dogs and all that too. I probably would have, I did.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's tough too, though. You know what I mean?
I can see it from both sides.
You can
honestly.
see that, yeah.
I can see Arnie staying true to his story because he maybe he had a lesser sentence because he stayed true to that exorcism story. So they have to stay true to it. I don't know.
Well, let's go to the next comment. It says, "Odd how these supernatural things tend to happen in Catholic households."
It's very true, bro.
It's very true, though, right?
It's very true.
Very true.
It's crazy.
It's very true.
Yeah, dude. It's very true.
It's funny because my next one is in a Catholic household too. So
one of mine is Catholic.
Hey, we're not trying to say anything bad to those that are listening. Okay, we're just saying what we're reading. We're reading what we're researching. Okay, okay. So one of the last comment that I thought was actually pretty, something to highlight was, "I'm glad he was released. He was defending a little girl from a creep."
Yeah, very true. I don't know if see, like, if I say it sounds like I'm defending a pedophile, but I'm not. I'm just saying, like, it didn't go that far though, right? So it's like, it didn't really deserve the killing.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
But then, do you want to let it happen? Then you
right. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's hard for me to say because I don't want to sound like I'm defending a pedophile. You know?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough.
At the end of the day, death should. We don't wish death upon anyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because of the situation.
But like, it's even if, what if it's not true? You know how, like,
yeah, exactly.
Someone can lie that you're a pedophile, and even if it's not true, the pain has already been done. You're already kind of tainted with maybe he is a pedophile.
Yeah. So I guess it goes back to we weren't there that day. We don't really know what happened. Maybe they both got drunk and they both were just having dumb talks, and then someone got mad, and
Oof. Oh.
So
yeah, tough. I don't know.
So I guess my question to you, Colin, at the end of the day, do you believe this dude was really possessed?
I would say no, because how come after prison he's just okay now or some shit?
Very true. I agree.
Yeah.
I guess in this story, in this case that I've researched, we both agree that no, he was not possessed.
He was not possessed.
No.
Yeah.
And so,
boom.
yeah. And I hate to say it, just imagine being, I know Alan might have been a wrong dude for doing that, but imagine being part of his family, someone gets charged of manslaughter, which is the easier sentence than, 3rd-degree murder or something.
Very true.
And then you're just sitting there like, well, oh, so this dude just made up a story and then got a manslaughter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd be pretty pissed. I'd be pretty mad.
Very true.
Let's say if he wasn't a pedo, and he just said the wrong things to this dude.
Right. Like,
and
what
then
if he was
killed?
like the guardian and he didn't want a little girl running out by herself or something, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then you come at the wrong time, you're drunk, and you're like, what the fuck you doing to the girl? And then boom, So at that point, too, it's kind of like, I guess I see why court cases don't accept the I was possessed, because anyone then can use it for any situation.
Yeah, very true, very true.
Yeah, so, that's my story.
Interesting. Okay, that was a good one. I'm not gonna lie, I've seen the movie. The movie was pretty trash.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot the whole storyline.
Oh gosh! But before you do start calling, you might be take a shot.
Oh, I don't think I can. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty lit.
Right, I'm gonna take one.
I'm pretty lit. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I can't.
No,
I'm not trying to repeat Palmer House. I have a lot of information I have to remember.
All right, go ahead.
Alright, sorry, Pencil, but you guys go ahead. Take your drinks, snacks, whatever. Alright, so this first one I'm gonna tell is, I'm just gonna title it The Possession of Estefania Gutierrez Lazaro. This was in 1991. So Estefania, she was a high school student in Madrid, Spain. She specifically lived in, I guess you can say, a community or town called the Velicas. I guess it's a working class neighborhood on the outer skirts of Madrid. So Estefania was part of a friend group that were pretty religious. They would skip class and whatnot. And so one of Estefania's friend, she had a boyfriend who I guess passed away at that time from like a motorcycle accident.
How old are they again?
They're like high schoolers.
High school. Oh crap.
Yeah, they're high schoolers.
Okay.
And being in Spain, I believe it was like a Catholic school. Yeah. And so to help her friend kind of mourn or feel better about her boyfriend who passed away, they decided to play the Ouija board to kind of get in touch with her passed away boyfriend.
Oh God!
So in high school, one day in high school, they skipped class. They were in the bathroom and they played the Ouija board. They started a seance, trying to contact the dead boyfriend. I don't know. I couldn't really find information on what exactly happened, but essentially a teacher found them and called them. And she was really upset at them for, partaking in these looked down upon activities, playing the Ouija board.
Right.
And so they ended the seance. They stopped playing. I don't know. I guess they didn't end it properly. But ever since that Ouija board day or seance, Estefania started to experience some weird things.
Okay.
Essentially, so Estefania and her family, they lived in an apartment. And so she started experiencing things in the apartment. And some of the things that she experienced would be difficulty sleeping, hallucinations. She would see things like shadow people with no face, hooded cloaks. Sometimes her family members would say her voice change. And she would have seizures.
Hey, quickly, did the grandma live with them? They did have a grandma, do they?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't have that information.
I was thinking about a movie. It kind of sounds familiar to a movie. But yeah, go on.
It is a movie. It is a movie.
Right, yeah.
I'll tell the movie later on what the title is. But yeah, their household in the apartment started experiencing things at their apartment. Estefania would have weird behavioral changes. She would be physically abusive. Well, actually, just abusive. I don't know if maybe physically and mentally, but she'll just be abusive towards her family members. She'll be hostile. And I guess, yeah, led to physical attacks. And so her family tried to seek help from professionals, and I guess they couldn't really find like a solution or something that resolved her haunting. So again, this is in 1990. I guess they experienced the hauntings for a year, or like, yeah, the hauntings and her weird behavior for a year. So 1991, she actually passed away from a seizure. She went to a seizure and a coma, and then she passed away in the coma.
Jeez.
And then another year passed, 1992. Again, she passed away in 1991. So a year passed, 1992. One of their neighbors in the apartment called the police.
Excuse me.
On Estefania's family members.
What?
Yeah, and they said that they complained that there were weird noises, sounding like aggressive and violent, coming from their apartment complex.
What the heck?
And so
I think that's a growl. That's a growl from the last two.
Yeah. So their neighbors, Estefania's family members, their neighbors in the apartment complex, complained and called the police. And so the police came by, and the police officer, his name was Jose Pedro Negri. He arrived to their apartment with like another handful of officers. And when they arrived to the apartment complex, they would see that Estefania's family members were already outside.
Really?
And they would like be staring at their apartment complex at the windows and stuff. And so the officers approached him and asked him what happened. Why was there a complaint? And Estefania's family members explained what happened. And so again, she already passed away for a year.
Yeah, right.
And the haunting. So let's kind of rewind back. 1990 was when they played the Ouija board.
Yep.
She experienced the haunting when she was alive at their apartment with her family for another year, 1991. She passed away in 1991. And then in 1992, apparently what her family told the police is that they continued to experience paranormal activities.
Jeez. Don't tell me it was her that was haunting them now.
I don't think so. But essentially, the family member told the police officers
That it continued.
that they've been experiencing this for the past year since the daughter had passed away. They would say that they would experience a shadow of people. They think it's like elderly shadows. They would hear voices and laughters in their apartments.
Jeez.
They would experience supernatural things such as items randomly flying across their home, glass cups falling down and breaking and whatnot. But one of the crazy things I read is that they've also experienced a photo of Estefania. This is after she's dead. One of her photos randomly burned up in flames, I guess. I don't know if that's true, right?
Yeah.
I say this because during my research, some of the sources seems kind of sketchy.
Damn, so she already died and her photo was still burning in the afterlife. Like,
yeah.
Man, this demon wanted everything erased from her life. and the spirit world and in the human world.
Yeah. So the officers, they hear this from the family, and they didn't believe them. So they're like, okay, well, we're going to continue our investigation of the complaint, and you guys are sounding crazy. So they went into the apartment, and they also experienced some crazy stuff. So they essentially experienced, when they walked into the apartment, they said that there was like a drop of temperature. It was really cold in the apartment. They experienced poltergeists, paranormal activities, cupboards, doors opening and closing, and it's like slamming too. It's not anything soft. They would hear weird loud noises, voices coming from vacant rooms, weird, slimy substances dripping from the bedside table. And another weird thing is, in one of the rooms, they would see a crucifix torn from a wall, and it was thrown across the room by like an unseen force.
Damn, poltergeist activity.
And they experienced this, and so they did believe the family, and supposedly they, you know how police, they have to write a report, and they wrote all this in the report.
Really?
Yep, it's written in the report, and so that's why this story is also really famous, because law enforcement reported that they experienced paranormal activity too. So what was interesting was that, I guess, I don't know if this is true or not. Again, some of the sources seem sketchy, but I guess the family eventually moved out of their apartment, and when they moved out, they stopped experiencing these things. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know.
So technically, is it just a place that's haunted now? It could technically be that then.
That's what it sounds like when I did my research.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess, but I don't know if it's true too. The family, they moved out, and supposedly they didn't experience it anymore. Some people who knew the family said that they were lying. But again, I don't know if the sources are true, because it's not. It's like the website is kind of sketchy, right? That's what I read it from. Like this part.
Not the New York Post.
And you guys are, again, there's a movie that was made from this true story, and it's called Veronica on Netflix.
Yes, I remember that, Veronica.
The movie was kind of ass.
It was pretty bad.
It was creepy at first, but it turned out to be ass.
I remember they were doing it down the basement. At first, and then they went to the basement when they were doing the Ouija board at first.
Of the school, right?
Yeah, the school.
It's like abandoned part of the school.
And they tried to go back and try to find that Ouija board, and they couldn't, and whatever happened.
And then, like, the haunting was that the demon was like somebody dressed in black latex, some sexual latex clothing.
That demon must have been having a good time before he died.
But that was the story. That's the story of Estefania Lazaro.
I guess my question to that is, so how did they is the demon still there to this day, you know?
See, I couldn't find much about that. I don't know, man. Yeah, that's why there was that one thing I read that people claim that the family was lying.
Oh.
But I don't know.
I could see that too, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I don't think they would lie about someone's death, though, and that's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
Veronica on Netflix. Yeah.
But the movie's ass, so.
I do remember that, too. Yeah.
If you want to watch it, feel free to, but I don't recommend it.
That's why at the beginning you were explaining it. I'm like, I think I remember this now.
Yeah.
Damn, well, cheers to that.
My can's empty.
Oh, damn. Hey, pop a new one.
Alright.
Bring him out, I'll pop him. Yeah, thanks for sharing that call. You know, I wouldn't want to go visit that place regardless, so.
I mean, is it true to say that Latin America is really Catholic Christian? They're like more on the Catholic side too, right?
They are the Catholic side.
Yeah.
Hopefully her spirit found peace if it is really in that situation, you know.
I mean, her picture burned.
I know.
I don't think she did.
Well, the thing too is, I guess that's just another story of. It's kind of crazy how there's one. You know how like people talk about possessed items. There's one item we all know that's international, and that's the Ouija board. You know what I mean?
Very true.
You know, like if you bring a Ouija board.
Crazy too, though.
Yeah.
You don't need to buy the Ouija board to play. You can make your own Ouija board.
We could draw that shit up.
Yeah, bro, that's the crazy shit.
You could print that shit off of Canva.com and then use
Bro, you know what's crazy too? Charlie.
Oh,
the two pencils.
The two pencils.
Dude, that shit's real too. I feel like it'll open a portal.
Yeah, and there was one where you hold like the two little thingy and then it moves.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yeah, it's crazy. There's so many ways to open the portal to the other side. If you guys don't know Charlie, what was it, like 2010s? There used to be a thing called Vine, or something like that, and people would play Charlie. They'll stack two pencils on top of each other, crossing each other.
Cross, yep.
On top of a piece of paper there's a circle. It's split into 4. And the opposite sides will say yes or no. And they'll say, Charlie, are you there? And then the pencil will like rotate yes or no. Yo, that's the way to open a portal.
Damn.
That shit's crazy.
Definitely got a lot of ghosts naming Charlie.
Yeah, I thought about doing a video copying off that. But instead it's Asian called Ling 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 Ling. Are you there? It's 2 chopsticks instead of pencils.
Bruh. Jeez.
Oh, damn.
Well, we should have done it while we were at the Palm House Hotel.
Yeah, damn. No, hell no. I don't want to open a portal, man.
Oh my god. What time are we at?
We are 40 minutes. 50 minutes.
Should I end it with mine then? This one will take a while.
You could,
for sure.
yeah. We'll
Okay.
do yours.
But it's a good one too. You'll like it. So, Maurice Frenchie, born in Catholic family, like I mentioned earlier, and Canada. So, this is apparently another conjuring case. I don't remember exactly which one. He didn't get a lot of like time into the movie. This is more like the Nun one. I think the first Nun. If you guys remember, I don't remember. But this is about Maurice. His nickname is Frenchie, so I'm gonna call him Frenchie.
Oh, this is the Nun origin story.
I believe so. Yeah.
I remember the name Frenchie. There's a character named Frenchie. Yeah.
Okay, yep. So pretty much that's what it is. Took place around the 1940s. This is when Frenchie was born. He's a little kid. The family was very poor. They lived in Canada, and I guess they operated a farm. The dad, he was pretty much a dude that was just your asshole boss that wanted everything to get done. It's all about money, production. It doesn't matter what you do. We just need to get it done and get paid. And so when he had Maurice, he thought of his kid as a free labor, which is pretty messed up, And so the story is that Maurice pretty much was bullied by his dad. His dad didn't give a shit about anyone in the family. All he cared about was money. So he bullied his kid. The kid, Frenchie, was pretty much malnourished his whole entire life growing up as a kid. He went to school and got bullied for it too. And so he's coming home, and then his dad bullied him too. And so it was rough in Canada, and he had a really rough, start to his life. And so it's a very sad story, you guys. So if you guys are listening, it's gonna go on a roller coaster emotion. Shit is about to get pretty messed up here, okay? So anyways, again, they grew up in a farm. It was more like a livestock farm. It wasn't like growing herbs or plants or anything. It was more like butchering meat and all that, okay? So I guess this whole entire story evolved around his possession. But his possession, Frenchie's possession, where did it start? It started back at home in Canada. What happened was, growing up at the farm, there was a day where he had to go into the barn to grab some kind of tool for some of the workers around the land. And so he went into the into the barn, and he heard a squealing sound that was coming from the other end of the barn. So he was like, what the hell is going on? Let's backtrack a bit. The dad is an alcoholic. He's very abusive. We all know that already because I said that. He's just mean overall. Okay, he's someone you wouldn't like. Probably someone you want to punch in the face. And so Frenchie decided to investigate what was happening on the other side. He kept hearing almost like a pig squealing for help, and so he ended up going to the back of the barn and into one of the animal stall. And what he found, I can't say this on YouTube, but the dad was performing some act on the pig.
Wow.
Yes.
Bestiality.
Yeah, pretty much on the pig. And the dad was, while doing all that, he was like blurring out Um, that.
Yeah. We have the window open, guys. Yeah.
The dad ended up blurring out some of demonic. He was speaking a different tongue, and he ended up saying a lot of different, things that was kind of weird. And the kid, Frenchie knew that it wasn't his dad that was talking. But while doing that to the animal, Frenchie was scared. He slowly backed away, and as he was backing away, his dad heard him from around the corner. So his dad stopped doing what he was doing, and then he said, "Frenchie, are you there?" "That's you. I know it's you."
Wow.
And so Frenchie said, "Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Dad. I didn't mean to, bother you." And so the dad was more like a boss than a father figure. Let's just put it that way. And so the dad said, "Well, now that I've caught you, you do the act."
Oh, wow.
And Frenchie at this time was only 9 years old.
Oh, wow.
The dad was really messed up because he wanted Frenchie to be not a son, but a child labor, right? Free child labor. So he made Frenchie dropped out of 3rd grade just to be a full-time child labor. That's how messed up he was. And so he forced the kid to do that to the pig. And what he believed that this was a demonic ritual, which was actually quoted in the book way back in the 1600, that this is one of those sayings they did back then. It's like make a deal with the devil, where you do like foul play on an animal, on a beast, and then you kill the beast afterwards, which they killed the pig and used the blood to draw like a pentagram and symbols. The dad did all that, and he sacrificed the pig. And the whole reason behind this sacrifice was because they had a bad harvest year, and he wanted to sacrifice his pig, and he called for the other side to bring him fortune. And so he did the unthinkable in order to get that good harvest year.
Whew.
Tough, right? That's tough. And so the kid was involved in it, and right after the ritual was done, the father told the kid, "Hey, but you go home, don't tell mom what happened. If you tell mom or any of your siblings, you're dead." So the kid, who is Frenchie, we're talking about him for this case as possession. So this is what he experienced as a kid, okay, which is pretty messed up. He experienced this, and then he kept it shut to himself the rest of his life. I'm gonna say that right now, the rest of his life. But he eventually will tell it later to his wife. But so years later, through all those abusive interactions with his dad, at the age of 19, he actually moved out. He was brave enough to move out out of the, I guess you call it the labor, the free labor, whatever. He moved to Massachusetts and worked at an oil rig for oil. And so he ended up meeting this girl named Nancy at a local church. They ended up getting married. They had 5 kids. So he did well. He made money. He worked 14 hours a week, pulled overtime, and again, he had 5 kids, and they ended up owning a farm of their own. Okay. So let's fast forward to 1984. This is when he was like in his 40s. 1984 was the year where Maurice would start experiencing strange occurrences at his farm. There were days where his animals would be scared whenever he approaches them and afraid to enter the barn. Some weeks where his farm would be drenched in rain while his neighbors had little to no rain. So it's kind of weird, right? It's getting odd. One particular day, though, Maurice made his way into the barn only to find his 3 best cows laying on the ground, dead, each suffering from unexplained bloody claw marks. Over the next few weeks, the same thing would repeat. More animals would die. Maurice then believed that the demon from the past has finally found him.
Wow.
Back going to his dad doing that ritual, right? A year later, so we're talking about 1985, these occurrences then will move into his home. Pots and pan would rattle, items would misplace, and doors were shut on their own. One evening, the family was having dinner. A strange energy was felt entering the kitchen. Maurice, Nancy, and their 5 children would stop eating immediately. A pan that was on the stove slowly started levitating, almost like an invisible hand was slowly lifting the pan up. The family will watch this pan spin and rotate to the center of the dining table. Then it completely stopped spinning. The pen then flew straight for Maurice's head, but thankfully he dodged it in time. The force used was so powerful that it left a hole on the wall.
Wow.
Yeah. With the bad finance position the family was at, they were trapped in their home with this demonic entity. You can't do anything. You can't buy a new house. You can't move in with relatives, especially with 5 kids. You're just kind of stuck. Maurice's health will soon decline, while Nancy and the rest of the family will experience poltergeist activity on the daily. There was a time where the family huddled in the living room, scared from the evil spirits. A chair from the corner of the room would fly straight to Maurice, hitting him and knocking him unconscious. Terrified, Nancy didn't even check on Maurice. She went straight for candles and lit them in a circle around her family and started reading biblical verses. Did it help? No. The demon would continue tormenting them by slowly blowing out one candle at a time. Jeez, it's scary.
Yeah.
So there was actually a police report, just like how you were saying with your story earlier. In 1985, in February, police head chef Sean was called to the home of the family. Sean entered the home and followed Nancy's voice, which led him to the bathroom where Maurice was lying on the ground, twitching and foaming sulfur. Sulfur is a nasty smell for those of you that don't know. Sean thought that this was fake. Sean is a cop. He thought that this was fake. It was an act, But as Sean slowly approached Maurice, who was laying on the ground, he began seeing bloody upside-down crosses foaming throughout Maurice's body. He then watched Maurice levitate and began bending his body in a non-human way. Sean decided to detain Maurice. He was knocked back into the sink with a strong force. As he was sitting back up, Maurice would then slowly turn to Sean and stare at him with all white eyes. Sean then dipped and wrote this report. He said, "No, I want nothing to do with it."
Wow.
And he was the head of the police, So I'll show you a picture of how he looks like. This is how he looks.
Oh, wow.
And this is the dad of the guy we were talking about.
The one that made love to the pig.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Pretty messed up, right?
Yeah.
After the police report, it didn't take until the late 1980s where Ed and Lorraine will be then notified about all these happenings that happened at their house. One thing I didn't understand was the moment you saw the pan flying, that was the main first event that happened. I would have called the local church already, But from what I was reading too, is that they didn't have enough evidence to carry on an exorcism. They didn't believe that Maurice was actually possessed. They just think that it was just maybe some poltergeist in the house that wasn't affecting them, right? So let's talk about the exorcism then. So it's kind of crazy because after the police left, they still didn't get any help. You would see Frenchie, who is Maurice, he would then slowly get possessed. There's days where the kids would see him go into an animal form and walking around. And I think this is because of the pig situation. But he would be on his four hands on the ground and he'll walk around and chase after the kids. And I feel like that's just part of it, But anyways, eventually the Warrens ended up going to the place, the Maurice family, and along with Father Robert, a Catholic priest trained in the rites of exorcism, performed an intense exorcism on Maurice. During this ritual, Maurice reportedly exhibited violent reactions, speaking in guttural voices, and attacking those around him with superhuman strength. Witnesses described the scene as a battle between forces of good and evil, with Maurice's body convulsively at the priest commanded the demon to leave. We're gonna watch it.
Okay. Goddamn.
Are you ready?
Wow.
And for those of you that are watching, you guys will get to see it too. During the exorcism, I'm gonna, viewer discretion is advised. I'm gonna let you guys know that Ed, during this possession, Ed does say that his faces change a lot, and that it's pretty much getting deformed. And this exorcism we're gonna watch, I'm gonna mute the volume for you. It is pretty scary. You do watch it. It is like 1980s, and his face does change. This is Frenchie. Well, what the heck?
Oh man.
But that's a little bit of a glimpse of like what to expect, you know. He looks kind of weird. He's all messed up. Right here. More. He's like bleeding. He don't look right?
Yeah.
And I believe that if you watch this video, you continue watching it, he does talk eventually. And I don't know how he originally sounded, but it looked pretty bad. And so they did the exorcism, and at one point during the exorcism, Maurice was said to have levitated off the ground. His face contorted into a weird expression. The father recited prayers and performed the rites with the determination to expel the demonic force from Maurice's body. According to the Warrens, the exorcism ended with Maurice temporarily free from the entity, though they warned that the demonic attachment like this often remains dormanted rather than disappearing completely. So after that happened, there is another thing that happened with Maurice. Maurice's death was a haunting reminder of the dark grip that the supernatural can have those on its targets. The tragic nature of his life and death added to the controversy surrounding the case, with some believing that the demonic force ultimately succeeded in driving him to despair. The reason why they say that is because right after the exorcism, Maurice ended up shooting his wife.
What?
He shot his wife. Maurice's story has become a staple in discussions about demonic possession and the effectiveness of exorcism. His case was featured in paranormal circles and has inspired characters in films like The Conjuring. The Warrens documented Maurice's case in their files, using it as an example of the danger of dealing with malevolent entities. To this day, paranormal investigation and demonologists reference Maurice's story as a cautionary tale of what can happen when the dark forces of the supernatural are not taken seriously. So yeah, he ended up shooting his wife, and then he shot himself after and killed himself. And they say that was because he was never fully free from the demon that possessed him as a kid.
Because he enacted in the activity.
Yeah, well, it was more like his dad kind of screwed him up, and then what do you do from then? You know, like he did a ritual, and he would never think it would come back to him like 40 years later, and then it did. You know, and the demon found him from what it was said, and so yeah. They found him, and tormented him and his family. The one thing I would say though is that I'm glad that it didn't happen to his kids, thankfully. Although they did experience some stuff, but unfortunately, Maurice did the unthinkable by shooting his wife and then ending himself. So I guess at the end of the day, all those the exorcism didn't help, and he ended up falling back to the dark side.
He already did the deed, man. That's why.
Yeah, unfortunately, but it wasn't even his fault though. His dad made him do it, which is messed up.
You call your dad like, you gotta do it too.
I would hate my dad for. I wouldn't do it.
God, I mean, I'm sure he was traumatized for life, no matter what.
Yeah,
that scarred him for life.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, well, yeah, that was a story of Maurice Frenchie that took place in the 1980s.
That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you guys enjoyed our research and telling you guys these exorcist stories and experiences. Comment down your thoughts. If you have a story of your own, or if you know of a story that is well known that we haven't covered yet, bring that up to us. Thank you guys. Subscribe, like, comment again. Peace.
Peace.